What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Run the World Season 2, Episode 5. So, we pick up with Sandy giving her heartfelt apology to baby girl about she's not going to be around anymore and how much she means to her and how she's enjoyed being in her life for all of these, for the last 2 years. And baby girl was basically like, all right then, have a nice life. So her little feelings are hurt because she was like, well, dang, like, that was easy. So the ladies are commiserating over some drinks while she's explaining to them. And Whitney is telling them that she's moving on. She's on a dating website, a dating app, so she can meet some people. And, of course, who does she scroll into? Ola. So she's even more upset because she's like, well, Ola is moving on, so I definitely need to put myself in gear and I need to move on. And while they're having this conversation, they're realizing for the first time that they're actually all single. Well, technically, Renee not really single because she's still married and she got a man. But, technically. Because she separated from her husband and she told the man that they was going to take things slow. Although, I don't know if he heard that. But, So, while they're having this conversation, Renee's phone keeps ringing. Her mom keeps calling her. Well, when she finally answers the phone, we find out that her grandmother passed away. So the ladies are all headed back to Chicago because I didn't realize that that's where they originally were from. Well, Sandy's not because they didn't meet Sandy till they all moved to New York. But Renee, Ella, and Whitney all grew up together, so their families know each other and all that good stuff. Now, remember, the person who plays Ella left the show for real. So I like the fact that they're keeping her character a part of the conversation. Like, I like the fact that they didn't just pretend like she never existed. So they do talk of Ella, and Ella sends her condolences, but of course she's not coming. And, they want Renee to write the obituary. I mean, not the obituary. The eulogy, and Ella actually ends up writing the eulogy. So again, glad that they're keeping Ella in the mix. So we get to Chicago. Renee's man then gave her his private jet to fly to Chicago and a driver while she was there. And of course, her family is peeping it and then her family is peeping it thinking, oh, you doing good. You getting paid well. Well, come to find out, her mama didn't know that she had quit her job. It seems like she knew about the separation from the husband, but she didn't know about the boyfriend, which of course, why would she? That's a new situation. But she definitely didn't know that she quit her job and was starting a new one because of course they needed her to help pay for the funeral. I'm not going to go down that road about how we don't take care of ourselves and make sure that we have our affairs in order when we pass, but I ain't going to go there. But yeah. The fact that her mama and her auntie needed her to help pay for the funeral, will really pay most of the funeral, that's a whole nother conversation. So, I was going to say Thelma Houston. Is it Thelma Houston? Anyway, my girl that played Nell Carter's best friend on Give Me a Break, and she played the auntie on Family Matters. It's Thelma something, but it's not Houston. But that's who plays Renee's mama. And my girl from the play Something Like It Hot, the play I've been telling y'all to go catch down to the Broadway, she plays the auntie. So it's all good. So we see them go to the funeral home, and of course they trying to sell them this package that's expensive, and that's when Renee finally has to tell her mom, listen, money a little tight because I'm not working, I started my own business. And of course her mama has no disrespect, but her mama, it's like, what? You start your own business, and she's almost acting as if this is like a hobby, not a job. And Renee is like, this is my job. Like, my own business is my job. It's just not as lucrative right now as the job I had. But, of course, the plan is for it to get there. So, while this is going on, Whitney is afraid to really face her parents. She hasn't been home since the funeral was called. Since the wedding was called off, and she's just worried about her parents' reaction. And we realize that her parents still ain't over it. Her daddy is still upset. I mean, he's not being rude to her or anything, but every chance he's dropping little tidbits, little hints, little comments about a wedding and about it being called off, and Whitney, and how her mama even said she had to go to therapy, child, to get over it. Okay. Sandy is staying at Whitney's house, and Sandy's parents are loving on Sandy. And part of the reason why they loving on Sandy, of course, is because they mad at Whitney. And um the day of the repast, we find out that Renee is looking for her grandmother's mink stole because her grandmother was gonna leave it to her. And her mother was like, "Oh, we sold that. We sold as much as we sold what we thought was valuable because we were trying to offset what we needed you to pay for the funeral." And again, I'm not even gonna go down that road about why they needed this girl to pay for the funeral. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it boop right there. But I'm just really sitting here like, really, y'all really needed her to pay for the funeral. But anyway, moving on. So, um, we meet Ray Ray. Ray Ray is the cousin. Whitney talking about something. Oh, Ray Ray's always had a crush on me, baby. Ray Ray wasn't paying her no mind. He was paying Sandy all the attention. And Renee's little cousin is trying to get in where she fit in. Like, she trying to move to New York. She trying to be, she's got dreams of moving to New York and working for Renee and all of that. And so she is basically positioning herself this whole episode to try and get a job with Renee's company, right? So the ladies end up going out the night of the repast, child. Whitney is trying to get her freak on because she feels some kind of way that Ola is on them dating sites, and she like, I can't let him get ahead of me in his healing process. Sandy is missing baby girl. I feel like she's missing baby girl more than she missing her man. But okay then, girl. Renee is just in her feelings about the whole situation. She's in her feelings about this mink stall that's missing now. The little cousin is like, girl, I'll help you find that mink stall if you give me a job, if you let me work for you, be an intern. And Renee is like, girl, okay, if you can track it down, then let's make it happen. So Renee and her mama keep getting into arguments, but what I find interesting is that every time Renee and her mama get into an argument, one or the other says, I don't have time for this right now. Either Renee is saying it to her mama and walking off, or her mama is saying it to Renee and walking off. And so I feel like that is what their relationship has always been. Their relationship has been this series of incomplete conversations, right? And Renee is really upset about this mink stall. And finally her mother is like, girl, when was the last time you even called your grandmama? Like, I didn't know like, maybe I would have known that was what she wanted for you if you were around, if we had the conversation, if we had talked about these things. Like, how was I supposed to know? You never shared that with me, right? So, I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, excuse me. So later on that night, child, Sandy leaves the club because Ray Ray trying to push up on her. Even though Ray Ray is helping her process her way through, but Ray Ray, And then, Sandy ends up staying out all night with some dude who plays for the Chicago Bears that Ray Ray introduced her to. I mean, Whitney, not Sandy, Whitney. So Whitney tried to sneak back in the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, and baby, her parents bust her child. And of course, she was like, listen, I am not getting ready to sit here and apologize for staying out all night. I am grown. But I find it interesting because, your parents never feel like you grow up, right? You just never grow up. So the next day we get down to the funeral. Renee still don't have her mink stole, and she's feeling some kind of way. She hung over from the club, child. And when it's time for her to get up and give the eulogy, she has the eulogy that Ella gave her. And she's trying to get through, she was trying to wing it, I think, and do her own thing, but then realized that she probably couldn't do it. And she looks up, and who's there? Her husband, separated, estranged husband. He's there. And once she sees him, it brings her a sense of comfort, it seems. And she's able to sort of calm down and get through the eulogy, which ended up being beautiful. Child, why we found out that her grandmama died with the neighbor. Biblically. She knew him. Relations. Sure. So, at the repast, and I was here for all of the repasts. Okay? Because they had that old school blue and white Corningware dishes. Baby, my mama still got her set. I mean, minus probably the 1 or 2 that we done broke over the years, but baby, my mama still got that Corningware set. Whoever got that blue and white Corningware set, you grew up in the black house. I don't know about what the white folk do with their Corningware, but I know every black person I know had that Corningware set. I was here for all of that. I was even here for the fact that they was playing dominoes. Because let me tell you something. In my family, it's big whiz. I mean, at funerals, repasses, wedding receptions, cookouts. Child, listen, graduation parties. Listen, somebody got a deck of cards, and there's four of us. We playing cards. We're gonna find a way to make it happen. That is just what we do. Okay. Uh, we're gonna find a way to make it happen. Okay. Um, she talks to her husband and talks to him about the mink stole and how that's missing or whatever. And it's a cordial conversation, but then he says, "Well, I gotta go." He said, "I got something to take care of." The band is doing well. We find out that they got signed to a record label, so everything is going well for the band and stuff like that. And um, of course, he ends up coming back later on, and he got that mink stole, right? But of course, once he gets there, he sees that Renee is being picked up by her personal driver, and the guy says something about getting to the airfield, and he was like, "Oh, you flying private?" He was like, "Oh, the business must be doing better than I thought." And she was like, "No, it's my friend." And it was funny because the driver kind of gave her a weird look, because when he walked in, the husband was kind of like hugging her, like putting a mink on her from behind, and he kind of gave her a strange look, like, "What the?" So I was like, the driver is more than a driver, okay? Trust and believe Preston is going to find out about that whole situationship. And once she explained that was my friend, he was like, "Oh, okay, well, I got to get back to Atlanta." He was like, maybe I'll catch you when the band is in town. She was like, "You will." Um, Whitney actually finally had a conversation with her parents and was like, "Look, I get it. Y'all loved Ola. I loved Ola, but we tried to make it work and it just didn't work. And I need y'all to move on, and I need y'all to have my back. Like right now, I feel like y'all are on his side, and I need y'all on my side." And so, they were like, "Look, it was hard for us to get over, but we got your back. Like, you're gonna always be our baby girl. Like, we got your back." And that was pretty much the episode, so it was interesting. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.